People ask me all the time, what is success? And it's so individual. I would never tell somebody else what success is. I would say when most people are pursuing success, I think what they're really pursuing is not a word. They're pursuing a greater quality of life. And in order to have an extraordinary quality of life, it's got to be life on your terms. And, some people's idea of an extraordinary life is, writing beautiful poetry or having a garden. Some people's idea is building $1 billion company. Some people is 3.2 perfect children. Everyone has a different idea. So my approach to helping entrepreneurs, business people, or anyone is to say, you got to figure out what is an extraordinary life for you. What would that look like today? Not 5 years ago, 10 years ago, but today, the way you look at life alive instead of an old story.
So first thing you need to do, if you want to really hone in on getting what you want, I can't speak for you, but there have been so many instances where there were things that I wanted, but I was just like, well, how do I get it? Like, I know I want this thing, but how do I get to it? And the first thing you've got to do is know what you want. I mean, it sounds simple. It probably is simple, but a lot of people miss this because they have like a general overview of what they want. Like a lot of people will be like, I want to make 6 figures, but they're not really specific. Or I want to, 6 figures can be a wide range of numbers. Or they may say, I want to be successful, or I want to be a coach. Like, what kind of coach? Like, there are so many coaches. So really get clear on what you want and paint a very clear picture of what you want that to look like.
And then there's 2 skills you got to master. The first one is the science of achievement. And it's a science. I spent 4 years interviewing these people, and I interviewed the smartest financial people in the world, and I picked no one from the Lucky Sperm Club. Nobody that inherited it. They all started with nothing, became multi-billionaires. And what you learn is they do it different ways, but there's some universal patterns, and success leaves clues. If you apply the same results, it's a recipe. It'll work for you too. I've done it, other people have done it. Same thing's true with your body. We're all biochemically unique, but there's certain fundamentals that are universal. There are laws, there's a science. If you violate them, you're gonna have low energy disease. If you align with them, you're gonna have high energy. So there's a science to achievement. But the second master lesson for an extraordinary life, I believe, is even more important. Because I've dealt with so many achievers that are still miserable. They got everything. They got their Academy Award, they got their Golden Globe, they got, they took their company public, they got $1 billion net worth, and they're miserable. So to me, that's insane. And the reason is they missed the second master lesson of life, which I call the art of fulfillment. Art, it's not science.
Like, so for me, I would be like, hey, I want to be a speaker coach. I want to make $500,000 per year. Like whatever that is for me, it would be very, very specific how much I'd like to make per month, by what time I would like to achieve that goal, and then what steps I can begin taking in order to make that goal real. So make it tangible. Take a few minutes, just sit down and write out exactly what you want. So write down what you want. Be as specific as possible. And then you've got to get the courage to pursue what you want.
You see more Chinese women entrepreneurs. And in fact, last time I looked at the billionaires, self-made billionaires, Chinese women, I think Chinese women were like the majority of it in the list. That goes to show you that, one, this has to be the right macro environment to give people a chance to exercise that entrepreneurship. And 2 is that there must be tremendous opportunities for women, because had it been another country where there's no opportunity for women, then you wouldn't be seeing this. So I think that I benefit a lot from being in the right place and being in the right time. I look at my mother's generation. Nobody had any opportunities, right? And in China. And now you talk to students graduating from school, and if they were, they have a job, and then very soon they begin to think, maybe I can start some business doing this, doing that. And that's where I think there's such a drive of entrepreneurship.
If you want to see the ultimate failure in life, it's success without fulfillment. That's the ultimate failure. The art of fulfillment, I think, is the more important of the 2. So you asked me to look in the camera and talk to these entrepreneurs and say, you know, what's the most important key to success? I think it's hunger. It's not getting satisfied. You know, if you look at a Mark Benioff at Salesforce, if you look at Richard Branson's friend of mine, or you look at anyone you respect who's achieved at the highest level, intelligence is an incredibly important distinction and a valuable thing to have in life. But I always tell people, you can find so many intelligent people that can't fight their way out of a paper bag. What matters is hunger. A hunger that doesn't go away, a hunger to learn, a hunger to grow, a hunger to serve, a hunger to give, a hunger to create breakthroughs. Most people are hungry till they make a certain amount of money and then they get comfortable. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's not about the money. It's not about the business. It's about your growth. Because every one of us either grows or dies. People ask me all the time, what does it take to be happy? I say one word, progress. Progress equals happiness, because achieving a goal feels good for how long? A week, a month, 3 months, and then there needs to be something else. And the reason for something else is because you got to grow. And I think if you can decide that success is life on your terms, but it's also a meaningful life where you found something you care about more than yourself that you want to serve, whether it's your family or a community or a mission or your company, then you're blessed. And success is that experience of not only achievement, but fulfillment. And it can't be achieved unless you're growing and unless you're giving in ways that you're not positioning the giving. It's not what other people say, it's what you know in your soul.
You've got to get the courage to pursue what you want. You've got to be willing to do the thing that you need to do. You have to make the decisions that you're going to need to make. You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone. You're going to have to deal with your fears. You're going to have to deal with your anxiety about speaking or promoting yourself or sales or whatever that is that you're going to need to do to reach that goal. Because it's exciting to say, you know, I want to make a certain amount of money, but then comes the work. Then comes creating the content. Then comes actually putting your content out there and trying your best not to overanalyze, trying your best not to overthink, trying your best not to be so focused on perfection that you never actually put it out there, that you never actually launch. And for me, I had to get the courage to launch again, because although I've been very successful as a speaker, I've been successful getting on stages, I've been successful booking myself, I had a lot of reservation about sales, about launching online. You know, I'll do events all day, but really showing up and having the digital footprint that is necessary to build a profitable online business, that takes courage.
The best growth moment is when I am most down. You know, when I have a moment that I just feel, oh gosh, I just cannot do it. Those are always the moment that I reflect a lot, I search a lot, and I can find strength. I remember trying to take our company public back in 2003. I was so certain we can go. And I worked so hard and worked with all the banks. But every step there were obstacles, and it's just not meant to happen, not meant to happen. And then after a year and a half, I was pushing so hard and it just didn't happen. And I sit down and say, I don't know what it is that I needed to do more to get it done. The American investor community just didn't get the China story, like real estate company that you can sell office buildings. And is that not speculation? Like for the American investors, it's unheard of. And then, a few years later, in 2007, we tried again. And everything just seemed to work so smoothly. And by then, all the earlier questions had gone. People are not asking those questions. I learned these things is sometimes you cannot push too much without really observing the environment, what really is happening. When no one else is ready, just yourself is ready, that's not good enough.
Number one, are you clear on what you really want? Like with all the information being thrown at you, I want you to think about this for a minute, right? Because complexity is the enemy of execution. So the more stuff that gets thrown at you, if you're not completely clear on exactly what it is you want, okay, you're never gonna get it. And we're gonna talk about getting clear on those things today, but somehow inside of you, finding the version of you that's capable of doing those things, is the most important thing.
There'll be plenty of times where being a woman is probably not helping your career. So when it does help your career, take the opportunity and then stand out. One of the most pivotal moments in my life was actually when I was a sophomore in high school. And my dad used to take me to speech contests, and that was a way for me to earn money to save for college. And I remember it was the Lions Club, and I was in the final round, and I lost. And I went home and I was kind of complaining. And my father said to me, "You really have to be so good that they have to give it to you." And you weren't. It was a really good lesson for me. I really took to heart the idea of excellence and no excuses.
So what I want to have happen today, I hope, is this experience that we talk about happiness, but we also talk about fulfillment. I don't want you to make all your financial goals happen and find yourself unfulfilled. I know more people with money that aren't fulfilled than I do people without money. If you can't find a way to be happy in this moment, in this time right now, I promise you, when you arrive at wealth, you are going to bring you with you. And it will only magnify the things you don't like about yourself when you get a bunch of money. I learned that firsthand. But I think it's important that you not always just see the after, that you also see the before. Because as an entrepreneur, you're all entrepreneurs now, right? You're gonna have false start after false start. You're gonna get it going, and then it's gonna go backwards. You're gonna make progress, and it's gonna go backwards. You're gonna think you have a deal, and then you don't. You're gonna make money on 3 deals, and then you won't. It's gonna get going and go backwards. It happens as an entrepreneur over and over and over again.
Small steps. I think if you focus only on the big goal, and ours is to, end poverty, we're never gonna maybe reach it in our lifetime, although I hope we will. But there are incremental changes that you can see, and you have to hold on to them.
I was really thinking about, how do I want to live my life? I was 42 years old, and I said, I can see my future. Like, I know what the next 20 years are going to be like if I stay here. And Accenture really provided an opportunity to challenge myself. Because if you think about it, I went from the young girl who had never traveled outside the US, who went and studied Chinese. Then I went to law school, and I grew up in a family that didn't sort of live in the corporate world. Then I became general counsel at a company of technology, and I didn't know that. And so each time you make a choice, and it's a choice about reinvention.
If you look at success based on the amount of human energy that you release in the world, then at least I know we're on our way. If we started with the golden rule of do unto others, and we extended it to a question that we ask ourselves, am I giving more to the world than I am taking from it? We would probably begin to morph our definition of success away from how much money do I have, how much am I giving away, to that same metric of, am I giving more to the world, am I releasing human energy? And I would love to see us as a world celebrated.
I may admire and respect you even at a level most people don't. I know what it's like to fail. And then once I started to turn it around, I wanted to win so bad, I was going to fake it till I made it. I tell you that to start out today. It's a long way of telling you I relate to where you are to some extent. Some of you are too cool. You're like, well, I'm not like in that kind of a condition. Yes, you are. You're broke. You're broke. And until you admit where you are and define where you are and quit playing it cool and trying to fool everybody about where you are, you're going to keep losing. Let me be real with you. Now that I've been funny with you, now we're going to get real. Stop bullshitting everybody. You're not fooling anybody. You talk to a real wealthy man, I know what you really got going on. And by the way, your Uncle Larry, the lawyer, making $350,000 a year, that ain't money. That's not money. If you're not at least at multiple 7 figures in this world, you are still broke. Trust me. My brother-in-law makes $280,000. He lives in Chino Hills. He can't even afford to buy a damn house right now where he lives because he can't save. Now, if he had these strategies, he probably could do it, right? But do not fool yourself that you got it going or you need to be in a big damn hurry. Time is running out on you. There's 86,400 seconds in a day. The separator between me and you and people that win and lose is what we do with those seconds. And you're too slow. You're too cool. You're too casual. You think too much. You need to get in a hurry. The separator in this room, you're all learning the same things. The separator is going to be who takes massive action quickly.